Good morning, dear colleagues. My name is Хасенова А.К. I am a teacher of English at Nazarbayev Intellectual School of Physics and Mathematics in Uroki. Today I want to introduce to you a lesson for 10th grade. The general topic of the unit is virtual worlds. The topic of the lesson is how video games affect the brain. It is listening and speaking lesson. The main objectives of the lessons were as following. Students got practice at speaking and listening. They recognized inconsistencies between their prediction and the content of scientist speech. As for speaking aims, students expressed their opinion, justified their opinion and opinions of other peers. As the most appropriate aims of the lessons were identified, the teacher made a decision about the selection of materials and activities, classroom organization, procedure, timing of different stages, and each stage of the lesson. At the beginning of the lesson, the teacher encouraged learners to activate their knowledge of the topic by asking them to work in pairs and write down some positive and negative effects that video games have on our health, behavior, and lifestyle. While discussing, students put forward facts from their experience, explained and justified their statements. Students wrote more than 2 ideas. Some of them were similar to the ideas of other pairs, but they gave different facts to prove their own case when one of the pair came to the board to write their pair's point of view.
Gamer should achieve, and that's why maybe his reaction, his logical thinking is improving because he thinks about his game and he must know what he must do.
Good, thank you.
The games a lot of time, for instance, about 3 or 4 hours in a day. It can be very dangerous for our eye vision, for our brain, because monitor it's very dangerous for our eye vision.
Yes. All right.
For example, we know that most computer games are about words and words, and this affects our brain because people become aggressive, they will become cruel people, and
speaking about violence.
Yes, and due to this, they even can have mental disabilities, and they can have aggression, for example, while talking with their parents or friends.
After playing the game.
Yes.
Yeah, good. Mm-hmm. This introductory activity not only activated students' previous learning, but prepared them for expanding their knowledge of the topic from focusing on the effect of video games on the brain. As listening a receptive skill, it involves responding to language by making use of its context. In order to make listening easier for perception, the stage of vocabulary pre-teaching was chosen, where the teacher presented new vocabulary through definitions and gave brief examples through pictures and functional questions. Before listening, the teacher informed students that they were going to listen to a talk of a brain scientist given at a TED conference. This information aroused the excitement of students as they had heard about TEDx and they had participated in one held in our school. Pre-listening activity was to write their predictions by answering the definitions given in handouts. They were allowed to miss questions that were very difficult for them.
I'm a brain scientist, and as a brain scientist, I'm actually interested in how the brain learns. And I'm especially interested in the possibility of making our brains smarter, better, and faster. This is in this context. I'm going to tell you about video out there. Yeah, good. So in the same way that we actually video games.
During the first listening, students made notes of main points of professor's speech. Students watched the video and listened to the talk that met learning style needs of oral and visual learners. Students listened to the talk of Daphne Beverly twice. Then in groups, they compared and checked their answers. The teacher observed the pair work. Then students worked on recognizing inconsistencies. It appeared that many of students found inconsistent statements in the question about multimedia taskers and just multitaskers. For differentiation, stronger students were asked a question about inconsistent facts which scientists had mentioned, and surprisingly, they coped with the task.
Two lessons, we have learned that the video games are not so bad as others thought.
Yes, good. Now, why? Then you will justify why, yeah? Then
Not only English, but games which have logical thinking, which can be useful and
which are they? Action games, strategy games.
Most of the games.
So don't forget
indie games is not useful for us.
Indie games.
at the computer. Now what do you say? Good. It is number 2?
No, it's first.
No, you will justify it for just give the points.
Maybe choose choose now group discuss, and the first one we choose play with your children, take advice from them, because nowadays we know that the problem with the parents and children is that parents, they don't understand the interests of their children, and
To sum up the topic of the lesson about video gaming, students in groups worked out advice for parents and for students how to make video gaming useful for brain and behavior. The discussion of presentation was very active, as students did not agree with some statements of other groups.
the second one is play no more than 2 hours a day. You will
No more than 2 hours, okay? Why?
We see our group thinks that 2 hours is normal time management for brain computing use.
Moving to the focus, to the role of teacher, the observations supported and guided students gently, as well as taken written notes on students' progress in accordance with success criteria. At the end of the lesson, the teacher gave feedback about how well the students had worked during the lesson. Everybody understands well the importance of students' reflection on the results of the lesson. Students have to think about what they have learned during the lesson. So, at the end of the lesson, students answered the following questions. What did they like in the lesson? What was difficult during the lesson? What would they like to learn more? Next, they wrote and stuck their answers in colored stickers on the board. Analysis of students' reflection remarks will help the teacher to model the next lesson.